Hey folks, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. Welcome to 2020. Happy New Year to you. We're going to go over there and expand my raised beds. Now the plan here is to come out about 2 blocks this way and get myself about 8 square feet of gardening there. But on this bed I'm going to come out this entire area where Phoebe is eating grubs. And we're going to expand here. I can't expand this one, really. I could come out a foot or two maybe, but I've got this lemon tree here, and I'm not sure I want to close off this little passageway here, and so that's going to stay the same. But this one, this is going to be our biggest expansion. We're going to have a small expansion here, and I've also added this raised bed here, and one way over there, right there. Okay, so what I'm doing here is trying to gouge out with my grub hoe a channel for my new cinder blocks. I want them to be kind of at the same level as those. All these 4 at the end, this end cap will move to about right there. So I've taken away my end cap here, and the soil that's inside these cells on this cinder block, I'm going to put in here. Every little bit helps, and yeah, you can see that those blocks have sunk down about 3 inches. That's a lot of sinking. So I'm going to have to remove a little bit more along here to keep my cinder blocks level. Makes them a lot lighter, that's for sure. All right, so we have our first brick of our expansion in. If you're archaeology minded, you can see down in here, move Phoebe, move. You see down in here there's some coal. This is where our very first fire pit was in our backyard. Kind of a nostalgic thing. It was right here. So hard work, but that's the level we want. We bring out 2 more bricks and then put the cap on. What do you think? It's going up a little bit, isn't it? And all this extra dirt, topsoil, goes into the garden. If you don't have one of these grub hoes, this is a wonderful, marvelous tool. Go to easydigging.com. I don't get paid to say that. I just like their tools. They make life easy. All right, look at that. It's coming together. That gains us an extra 4 by 4, 16 square feet of gardening. In my fall garden, that's 4 more cabbages, or a whole plot of carrots, a whole plot of beets. But in my spring garden, this will be multi-planted. I'll have lots of intercropping and sowing lots of things here. So yeah, let's take a look at that soil profile. You can see here that where I pulled the bricks back, we get a good look at the soil. You can see the roots of those cabbages foraging for resources, and yeah, it's pretty much a homogeneous mix all the way down. You can see worm channels in there, earthworm channels right there coming up to the surface to draw down what they need to eat and bring it down into the soil. And yeah, this is good, healthy soil. Really good stuff. I'm pleased with that. All right, we're done with the laying of cinder blocks here, and you can see when the soil is missing from the garden, you can see how much I'm working with. I'm working with about 8 inches of soil, the full depth of the cinder block, when I put in a new garden. However, when this garden starts to work its way into the native soil, we're dealing with a good soil that's about 12 to 14 inches deep, and yeah, that takes a few years to get going. But if you do a raised bed and you garden on native soil, and it's good topsoil down there, it's my lawn, then you can expect in about 2 years, maybe 3, that all that good organic material, your lawn, your grass, all the weeds down there, will have been composted, and yeah, that gets incorporated into your raised bed. So we're not really dealing with just 8 inches here. We're dealing with about 12 to 14 inches of good loamy soil, and yeah, I'm happy about this. Whew. Okay, what I'm going to do next is fill this with some expired potting soil just to level it off, and then I'll come back over the top of it before I plant. Actually, I'll come back pretty soon with a thick layer of compost, the thickest layer I can get to put on here, and that'll prepare this bed for the spring planting, which is about 2 months away. Actually, yeah, right at 2 months away. So I'll be starting my seeds in 2 weeks. It is New Year's Eve. In 2 weeks I'll start my seed. March the 1st is our average last frost date. That's when I want to have my plants in the ground, somewhere around March 1st. So I'll need to start my seeds in 2 weeks to be 8 weeks ahead of that frost date. This bed will receive some of those seeds. These cabbages have not been doing well in this depleted soil, but hey, you know, you figure it out, you try. So to the compost with that. And all this mulch on top has to come off, because I don't want to put mulch in my soil. I want my mulch on top of my soil. If you put mulch in your soil, it's going to bind up your nutrients and your nitrogen. And yeah, just don't mix it in there. Make sure it's composted well before you stick it in your soil. So I'm going to remove all this off. There we go. Now this will settle down because it's very fluffy potting soil. It'll settle over time. But we'll be topping this off with compost at the nearest possible opportunity. And all these roots that are in here, most of them are not weed roots. This is from my okra and from my cabbages. But there are a few weeds in there that we've pulled out. We want to get out all the nutsedge that we see. That's the biggest problem here, and Bermuda grass. But yeah, look at that, man. We got us an extension. All right, it's the next day. I had to knock off work because we had family coming over. And well, I've discovered a mistake. On this one right here, I meant to bring it out 1 brick more. To about right there. So I'm gonna fix that and then work on this one here. Once again, I'm going to use some of my depleted potting soil to fill this up. And then I'll come back and put some compost in here. So if you really want to, there's ways you can get going immediately. You could till in some compost. Once you put your soil in here for the first time, you're establishing a new bed. That's a good time to do some tilling and turning of the material you're putting in there to incorporate all of your nutrients, whether that be compost or whether that be just some fertilizer that you want to put in there if you're into that. But now's the time to do that, because once this bed is in place and my compost is put on top, I'm not going to till this anymore. I'm going to go ahead and take some of the sod and the clay that's in this little area right here, and I'm going to turn it. And that's the only turning I'm going to do in this garden. But it's a little high in the middle there, and I just want to turn it. I'm not going to put soil in there just yet. We're going to get rain. In fact, the wind is moving in now. I want to get that chopped up and up against the exposed soil from my carrots there, so the rain won't wash them out. So I'm going to turn this soil, break it up a little bit, so that when I put my compost and my garden soil in here, it can work down into those air channels that I open up. So let's turn it. Man, that was a lot of work, but got it done before the rain came, and all I need to do now is put soil, some filler soil in there, some topsoil or some depleted potting mix, but I'm all out of that. So what I'm going to do is going to have to go to the store and get some bagged stuff. That's not big enough to warrant a truck delivering something. So that'll take about 3 bags to level it up, and then I'll put compost on it as soon as I can get into my compost pile. And on both of these we'll put compost and they'll be ready to go. A little wonky in here, but that's okay. What I try to do is to minimize the gap between the bricks if I can, and that will minimize the weeds that grow in here. Man, it's hard to get those guys out. That's one of the downsides of the cinder block. But you'll also notice there's some places where the gap is there, and over time these will shift. Look at some of these old ones over here. They settle in, they shift. They get pretty firmly planted in there. They find themselves filled up with dirt, and sometimes you get gaps and weeds grow in them. And you can see that when weeds grow in them, they become difficult. Never fear though, that's what a flame weeder is for. When you flame weed, you don't burn up your borders. That's another advantage of these blocks. If you'd like to build a raised bed with cinder blocks, it couldn't be easier. You just saw how to do it, except if you're starting fresh, all you need to do is level the high spots or the low spots. You don't have to dig out a channel to meet your existing bed, but you see how easy that is. It's just cinder blocks, and you just put them on the ground. Eventually, over 5 years, my cinder blocks have sunk 3 inches into the ground. That's okay, because the soil in there is always being improved by each year's garden, by each year's amending. And so you can put this in and really enjoy the benefits of having a border that's not going to rot. And that's what I like about it. My borders don't rot away like wood does, like my wooden beds over there are going to rot in 5 or 6 years. Some people are concerned about the chemical makeup of cinder blocks. Personally, I'm not concerned, and even if there is a chemical leach, most of that leaching goes downward and only out just a few inches from the brick itself, and over time I believe that those chemicals deplete themselves. But I'm not concerned about that. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it contaminates gardens. And yeah, so I use cinder blocks. Look how easy it is. Fantastic. Hey, thanks for joining us on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. It's a new year. We're launching into our spring garden in 2 weeks. We'll be starting seeds, and I'll show you all that. And yeah, we're so glad you joined us. Hey, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram, and happy gardening to you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.